Welcome back to another Askari Cast. My name is Rod Van Blake, author of the Ancient Illumination series as well as Young Bonnie Chronicles. And I am joined once again by Jocelyn Short. She is a graphic artist and illustrator, creator of a series called Bearers. Her art book is out now, and we will be having links to everything in case you're interested in our creative endeavors. We are also joined by JP Jackson Art.
Hey, everybody.
Jordan is also a graphic designer, illustrator, animator, creator of Eve of Insurrection, Eve of Reclamation, and The Growing in the Garden educational STEM series comic. If you have any kids out there want to learn about coding and getting the things of that nature, like I said, there will be links to everybody's website once this goes up on Spotify for everybody who listens to our podcast there. And today we are talking the first two episodes of Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2, now streaming on Apple TV. So if you have yet to watch the first two episodes, I guess you can bookmark this if you can and come back and listen to us later or watch us, depending on what format you're on. You guys ready to talk the episode?
Yep. Of course. Jump in.
Cause and Effect is the first episode. They kind of give us a nice little recap of what happened in episode 1. Skull Island base for Apex. We find out that Apex, anybody that's watched Godzilla vs. Kong, any of those movies with Kong and Godzilla, we learned about, or Skull Island even. Kong Skull Island with Samuel L. Jackson, we find out that Kong has his own little island where he's living. And Apex apparently put a base there. And when they ended up going back to inadvertently rescue Keiko after Kate got dropped down into one of the wormholes, I think was that the Russian spot they went to where Kate fell into in season 1.
I feel like, didn't it look like Chernobyl almost?
So yeah, it was something like that.
I remember that
Fallout, and she falls through. They end up going back to get her at the behest of Shaw, and so now we see they brought Keiko back. But yeah, Kong is tripping because not only are these people on his island, but the rifts that they open up are attracting other monsters, kaiju, whatever you want to classify them. Every time that thing opens up, it invites something else to come in, and Kong is forced to defend his territory. And then he runs through the base like, y'all messing up. Y'all keep letting stuff in here. And so he starts, Hulk smashing everything. And they're surprised somehow that he's tripping. The Monarch people are like, we don't know what activated him. Tim kind of tells him. Keiko is now back into the Back to the Future, kind of. But Shaw has been left behind in Axis Mundi. Of course, we knew Kate, May, Kentaro, and the crew are back with Monarch, and they want to go back to him, but the Monarch leadership at the time don't agree. They're like, we don't want to risk lives. It's a death trap to go back to this island where Kong is obviously flipping out. Keiko wakes up disoriented, and she begins immediately looking around for Hiroshi, which I thought was funny, because that was the last thing she remembered, I guess, and she's disorientated. Last time, I think one of them kind of describes it as a diver coming back to the surface too soon because of how long she had been trapped down there, which she thought was like a couple of weeks, but it absolutely had been like 30-something, 40 years. We're given another flashback to southern Chile in 1957, where the fishing village has some like religious ties to this sea monster, which I guess they're calling Titan X because they don't know the name of it. Some type of sea monster. Did y'all peep how fast the boat captain was ready to bounce after dropping them off?
Yeah, he got his money and dipped. I was like, y'all don't find that suspicious?
Yeah. Not only that, I see Billy's trying to test out his, 2-3 words of Spanish. And my man is untying stuff. Yeah, he takes the money, checks it, stuffs it in his pocket, like he's getting ready to go. He's like, y'all ain't supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm just here for the money. And yeah, he's ready to dip real quick. Billy almost gets stabbed for trying to take a picture of one of the little shoe horse crab things. Like immediately, aside from Shaw, neither of them really know how to read the room.
That was annoying, to be honest. Like it seemed like they didn't, I don't know, it was giving like very unaware white guys. Like, oh, we're just moving around here lackadaisical. Like, we're just going to go take pictures of this. What you say?
Shaw tries to tell him. As soon as he opens up the bar, he looks in.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, maybe y'all should wait outside. And Keiko's like, do you want to stay outside?
Oh, my gosh.
Like, he was trying to politely tell you, like, look, I don't think it's safe to go in here. Let me kind of feel things out first and wait outside. And she's like, do you want to wait outside? Like, if you're not going to check it out, I'm going to go check it out. And he's like, you're not getting a hint. And she just barges in there. And I was reminded of like the old school, y'all probably might not remember, the old school Westerns where the swinging doors would open up and all of a sudden the music would stop.
Yeah.
And everybody would stop and turn around. When they modernized it, there used to be a record somewhere. The record would scratch because they just stopped the music. That was the scene. And Billy has no clue. He's like, oh, what's this? And almost gets stabbed for it. Excuse me. And then they go back to the present. And of course, the crew is not listening to anybody's. I mean, it's called Cause and Effect is the title of this episode. And they illustrate that very much here. Of course, we get the flashback. Now, Shaw is still alive in present day. We see him land. Just that, I think is it Kentaro, somebody who mentions to Kate, like, I'm pretty sure she said Shaw fell from about 100 feet.
He shouldn't have survived.
Well, that's not necessarily true if he's close to that rift, because gravity, as close as you get because it's pulling things in, may actually have him fall slower than he would actually fall in reality, like there's nothing else there. So I think that's how they kind of rationalize it.
I figured that too, but any other context, I'm like, yeah, he should have fell from. He should have died from that height.
Yeah. Keiko's recovered after being sedated, and they're having a little, Hiroshi and Kate are kind of talking as Keiko recovers. Obviously, Kate plans to go back. I have my notes here. The arrogance in nearly everyone is astounding. Like,
yeah,
it's really dumb. Really dumb.
On every front.
Oh my goodness!
You're dealing with stuff that you can't control. And you're wanting to take and risk more lives to go back for one life. And I'm tripping on because of the survivor's guilt that we know Kate from season 1 that Kate has for, surviving G-Day in San Francisco. And now here it is, she's about to risk more lives to save one life. And inadvertently, seems like she could be potentially starting another G-Day with a different creature that they have no idea about. And then we see May snubbing Brenda from Apex because she tries to flatter her in order to get her to leave with her and go back and working for Apex, basically. She's like, well, what are you going to do? You're going to sit here with your little friends where they have no idea what your capabilities are. They're not going to use your talent to do God knows what. There's an extra seat if you want it. And, of course, she leaves. She kind of preaches against Kate. I'm talking about May here. But she already knows she's down. She's part of the crew. She's down for all the shenanigans to go with them. And Kate, I'm not letting them leave without Shaw. Like, who is you? Can't operate a thing on your own out here. You're a school teacher, but you're way out of your depth. You can't survive this island on your own. You need a whole bunch of help, but you're going to mandate that this relatively large company is going to go on this rescue mission on your word, and if they don't go along, she's basically walking around the ship enlisting help to steal a little boat and go back to the island. Tim, y'all peep this, is simultaneously too dumb and basically nerdgasming to realize he's getting played right now. When he starts talking about all the specs of the computer and the tech that's there, and doesn't know that they're actually, I think Mayor's like stalling him while the other two run off and steal a boat. And he doesn't even realize he's being manipulated in that moment. Like he just can't get over it. Steal a small boat and go to open another rift to get Shaw back. And I'm laughing because like the smallest stuff on the island could make a snack out of you. They walk by Kong taking a nap before almost getting eaten by the little bird things.
The hand.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Everyone was very annoying.
Yeah. They can't do they yeah, so they're sitting there about to unleash something. They flash back again to the OG crew, Billy, Keiko, and Young Shaw, where the waitress basically says, I'll show you our secret if you promise to leave. And then we see Keiko and Shaw flirting again. This has been like an ongoing thing with them kind of having a mental thing going, even though nothing physically may be going on. And she's married to Billy. Billy's all about whatever he's chasing. Keiko is chasing the science to her detriment and everybody else's detriment, because it's weird because it's like these things are so important to them, but it may not be important to the people that you're basically coming in on their space. Like it's important, but for different reasons to different groups, but it's not your thing. And everybody seems to like feel like they have a right to everything.
That entitlement.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does Kentaro know how to turn the power grid back on the Apex facility? Did y'all feel the same way, or am I tripping?
Was it Kentaro like a hack? Couldn't Kentaro hack, or just an artist? He was just.
No, remember May was a hacker.
Oh well, yeah, he shouldn't have known how to turn that on. I knew that.
May was the hacker and the coder, and she was the tech person.
Right.
He was an artist, just kind of doing his own thing out in Japan. But all of a sudden, he knows not only where to go. I guess in context, they were working with these people, I guess, for 2 years. So maybe that's the backstory that we don't get. Maybe
right.
We'll get some hints of that later.
Yeah.
But to me, it just seemed kind of abrupt that he just automatically knows where to go. And they find some rat beast thing, almost get killed in there after they turn the power on.
That was crazy.
I guess my boy had his forklift license too, because he drives.
Yeah, got that CD.
Kills a little rat thing. Kate is a guilty G-Day survivor, and I think at the end of episode 1, she's like, I may have caused another. So yeah, that ends up being super crazy. Monarch, of course, realizes that they're gone with the stolen ship and Hiroshi, and they basically know who's left, who's taken I forget the name of the boat. They called it some little cool name. They've taken a Raptor, and we don't know what the rest of them are going back to the island. So they fly back with Deputy Director Verdugo to get them just as they're getting the system finally set up. They argue for a couple minutes over whether they should leave or stay. Something's rumbling. Of course, Kate runs over to the computer at the last minute, hits enter, opening the rift, sending the pod back to get Shaw, and he's there. We see the Titan X in like a gray, bluish, dark, like almost like a frozen ash cocoon of some type.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I wonder if it was hibernating there, was left, was it powering up, and now you've disturbed its sleep because the rift is open. It wakes up just as Shaw is about to be skewered by some big tree hog, whatever that thing was.
From the last season, yeah.
Yeah. That Keiko was shot in the eye with the arrow, because the arrow was still poking out of his eye. I'm like, I remember something happening in this region, but when the rift comes, the little warthog thing runs off. Shaw runs to get into his little pod, and we see a bunch of bioluminescent bugs that are floating, as well as the horseshoe crab things that are apparently come with the sea creature pop out the ground trying on one tries to hop a ride and he kills it, but one obviously gets in that we later see hitches a ride with him. And yeah, so the pod pops back up, they get Shaw back, and in the interim, they lose Verdugo because the tentacle comes and just mollywops her off in the distance. so, so that was all crazy. So now they have a power vacuum with Monarch. Excuse me. They come back with Shaw minus their deputy director and go back and realize they may have just unleashed another beast. Kong comes. This was so funny when Kong runs by and then turns around and looks up at the helicopters. Like, you bastards, you keep bringing this stuff to my place.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
I'm really annoyed with everybody. Like I understand that they have to do all this so that they can be a show, but I'm just like I wish I would just leave well enough alone. Like none of this needs to really be happening. Like these monsters want to be left alone. You need to leave the monsters alone. I don't know. I know what the point of the show is. I
Yeah,
understand, but I'm just like the way everybody is moving is really irritating.
yeah,
It's all the characters are dumb. Like most of them are dumb. Now I'm starting to realize it. Like, oh, if I look at this TV series as like a horror movie, then I
Mm,
can not be as mad because I'm like,
mhm.
y'all are moving like dumb horror movie characters who I want to die.
yeah,
So it's just the first episode was just a little frustrating because I'm like, all right, Kate, so you really want to go back and save Shaw? This is already a bad idea in itself. That just felt like it was a bad idea. It was just already a bad idea. So I'm like, all right, this is gonna be. I know it's gonna be goofy,
yeah.
but I was right there. What had me was laughing, but also like you're stupid. Is when their intention like be quiet.
Mm,
And then is it Kate or May? One of them is Kate. No, May steps on a branch,
yeah.
then
Almost wakes up. Yeah,
freezes as Godzilla. I mean, sorry, wrong kaiju, wrong giant monster. King Kong rolls over in his sleep to barely miss May. Well, no, Kate pushes May out the way, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, this is so dumb. This is dumb.
yeah,
And I'm like, the whole just her get like, and then as soon as I knew when um her dad was like, Hiroshi was like, this whole argument between them about like her going, like, is this a good idea to do this? And her being like the daughter who's like, you were never, it was giving me
She
like,
was guilting him. She was
guilting him.
using yeah.
Yes. And I'm
yeah.
like, all right, y'all. So I get it. Y'all are existing in this trauma, but this is gonna be a bad idea that you wanna go and save this man Shaw.
It shouldn't be the
And
driver to a suicide mission.
Yeah.
exactly.
The
And I'm
guilt
like,
should
this
not
is this is
be.
dumb. And then she hit that button. I'm like, yeah, go. Oh yeah. All right, let's see where it's gonna go.
And
And then Verdugo, what happened to her was hilarious. That made
yes,
me
man.
laugh. Yeah, that was funny. Like as soon as like that tentacle came out and went whap, I was like, that should have hit somebody else, but somebody had to go. I should have hit the main cast, but I was like, I'll take that. But it was like, this is just you're like, it makes sense cause and effect. Like this kind of like selfishness to save someone's life, you're literally unleashing doom onto the world. You're
Yeah.
causing more deaths off of this old white
And
man.
and and to
Let him
go
die.
back to the guilt trip that she's given her father is like the two situations aren't equal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
since when do you follow the rules? But she's talking about the rules of really the rules of family, right?
Mhm.
Like he shouldn't have left his main family to go start another family. It's not the same as I don't abide by these rules that affect potentially millions of people. Like
Mhm.
me messing up with our family really only affects our family. Me running the chase to go back and try and rescue one person and now conversely might affect millions of people are not the same thing that you're asking me to do. Oh, since I don't abide by rules, then I shouldn't abide by this rule and go off with you. Um, so that was the end. When we see the creature come out of the rift, Titan X, and run out into the water, it dovetails basically into the start of episode 2, which is called Resonance, is the title. And then they start off with Kong running through, trying to chase this thing, and then smacking his fist into the water when it sees that it got away. And then he turns around and sees them flying by in the helicopter, and they're just kind of flying like, yep, we done messed up. And now Shaw that we see from when the helicopter lands, and also that pod from Monarch, it has that other crab thing, the horseshoe crab thing. That's what I'm calling it, because it's like the closest thing in shape. It's got a maw on the bottom of it with a bunch of nasty looking teeth and more tentacles than a horseshoe crab. But that's like visually that's the easiest thing to kind of compare it to, but writ large, obviously. And Tim doesn't seem to know he's in charge now. Like, he doesn't get it. He gets, first when he hops on the helicopter, he's like, "Where's Deputy Director Verdugo?" He's like, "She's gone." He's just shaking his head. They get back to the boat, and they are kind of slowly following the new Titan. Tim obviously doesn't want to lead. Horseshoe Crab is creeping around the ship now with nobody knowing. And I was like, Kate does not get to run and cry about blame. When she gets into it with her father, she rushes in on him and Kentaro arguing over, and he's like, "We should have never hit that button." And then she comes in on that moment and then turns around and wants to cry about it. Like, bro, you don't try and flip it. You hit the button. Everybody else was talking. You ran back because they were all about to escape, and you hit enter. You got to fess up to that.
Man, she ain't gonna never have no peace. She not gonna have no peace. All right. If it would be great if the show resolved for her to have some kind of peace. And listen, I'm not saying that she shouldn't feel angry at her dad. She very
No, that
much
part's
should,
valid.
Yeah.
but I just feel like using all of her established like trauma as a reason for her to be angry at everything and be the driver for every decision that happens that moves this plot forward is going to get old real fast. And so I hope that that is not what it's going to continue to be.
Yeah. And to be fair, I kind of like the way Pops initially reacted to her. When he was like, "Believe what you think." Like, yo, I can't go back and fix that. What's done is done. She's like, how do you fall in love with two people at the same time? He's like, you don't.
What he could have added
You don't
to
choose
that. Listen, I understand the, it is what it is type
Yeah.
thing, but also that's the thing he should have said, or in addition to, would have been like, "You didn't deserve that."
Yeah, true. He could have had a little bit more self accountability in that moment, but at the time he was like, "Look, it is what it is. I can't change it. I didn't plan for it." And he even admitted, like, "I wasn't thinking." Like, you asked me what was I thinking? He's like, "I wasn't." Bottom line. And then she kept going off, and he's like, "You know what?"
Because again, what she needed to hear was, "You did not deserve that."
True.
But like a dad that's not trying to take responsibility, he was like not taking accountability. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
It's making us worse. You're making us worse, Dad. You gotta take both y'all gotta take responsibility with your parenting situation. You had a whole family. Outside, you had a whole other family.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
You made them. You made a poor decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they flash back to 1957. This was kind of funny. Bill all of a sudden wants to leave. Billy wants to leave. He done found the map in the cave, and he now wants to chase this migratory map. Keiko thinks there's more to be found in this town. And this, my next note says, arrogance and audacity running the family. Because Shaw is trying to tell them, like, Keiko, if he's leaving, we should all leave. Number one, these people don't want us here. It's obvious they don't want us here. it's not safe to be here. Let's just roll. And she's like, I want to follow the science. It's like, it's kind of a common theme with all these TV shows. We think back to Dr. Halsey and Halo.
Mm.
Regardless of what's happening to the kids, I'm going to follow this science, and repercussions be damned. Even I might be messing a bunch of these people up in the interim, but there's a good outcome that I see, so therefore I think the risk is worth it. Keiko here is doing the same thing. Like, I'm gonna
Very
stay
much
and
a
follow this.
colonizer mindset.
But why not just make these the characters when y'all saying this? Why not just make these characters the true villains of the story, like an actual villain from the story?
What do you mean? You want them to be the actual villains?
Yeah, like it feels like they're doing things like when you're like if we think about morality, right? In the context of like you have these scientists or researchers um that are not that are not considering the ramifications of what they're doing. It's like with Victor Franken, like with Frankenstein. Like this dude's clearly like the scientist is clearly like the villain in the story.
And I think they are.
And it's like Keiko's I don't know, but I do feel this weird energy that like I don't know. It's how Keiko is aware, how Keiko has a pre-existing she's seen these what do you call them again? Horseshoe crab creatures.
Yeah.
Like how she's like how she's kind of like they've seen that thing before.
Yeah.
In that bar, so it's like they have a connection to this. So they have she has information, but it's like what is she doing actually with the information to stop whatever may be coming?
Well, she's kind of rolling with the punches, but I think the funny thing is, I think they are the villains.
Yeah,
they're just
that's true.
The TV show doesn't necessarily present them as such.
Yeah,
they don't give them the title of villain, but yeah, in the end, they end up being the very ones that are trying to cut, mainly because they're trying to mess with stuff they cannot control.
Sure.
Following stuff around with no ability to do anything about it, and it's still stirring up the waters because you're simply following them around. It's like this system is older than all of us, and it is made to guard things that we don't understand. But instead of helping them guard and do what they need to do, we need to study it more for the science, inadvertently stirring up the pot again for other disasters to happen.
Right.
So they flash forward back to after, Keiko wants to stay for science sake, which they do. Billy goes off on his errand to try and find this migratory map to see if he can track the movements of Titan X and maybe get ahead of it. And then we flash back to present day, and Shaw calls Tim captain. He's like, I'm not the captain. And they're now following Titan X, and they're ordered also to detain Shaw. But he says the message might have got garbled in this one, so he's now starting to bend the rules too. Tim's not going to he's not going to detain Shaw. We get a brief argument kind of between May and Kate, where she's like, "What do you want?" May is like, "What do you want me to do?" And it's not just you to lay blame strictly at Kate. He's like, "Dude, we all jumped in on this, right or wrong or not, because it was the right thing to do, basically." And then I was like, "Well, was it the right thing to do?" Question mark.
Right.
No.
And then we see Keiko basically guilt Tim into speeding up the boat to try and save the civilians. And then we flash back to 1957, Billy leaving. Keiko can feel something in the cave. And now we know basically that the locals are planning something, because they turned real quick from being very standoffish, get off my lawn, to, oh, we welcome you now. They should have known. Keiko's spidey sense should have gotten up when people that weren't welcoming to you all of a sudden want you to stay. We're going to have a festival. You should join.
I'm like, it's giving cult, guys.
Her spidey sense is terrible. I feel like, you know what's interesting? I think her spidey sense towards monsters is great. Her spidey sense towards people is terrible.
Not so good.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So then we they're not noticing something's up. They go back into present day. wife and I were watching this together, and we agreed sometimes the flip between present day and the past can be a bit jarring in the show.
Yeah,
It seems
Yeah.
yeah,
this season.
agreed. It's one of those
Yeah.
things that's like always a little annoying. Like, and it's like I would probably have to do another watch because I'm always looking at like why do they jump? Why do they jump to the past? Like, what is the connecting thread between like what's happening in the previous scene and then like that may be in the present to like what's in the past. Like if you're going to thematically, like if you're gonna jump from past to present, there should be a connecting thread on like whatever the subject is or whatever the conflict is. Like we should be seeing that mirror. And sometimes, well, I feel like most of the time it's very much abrupt. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. From what I've seen during the second watch through, it's the horseshoe crab.
Right.
That's like
That's the part that makes sense. That's when it makes sense.
Yeah, they show him scurrying around on the present day ship.
That was goofy.
Right after that, they'll flip to 1957 where they first encounter these things.
Yeah.
Because we flip back to present day, and they're now trying to use a drone to lure the Titan, because I guess they're going to use some type of echolocation, some sonar, some sound variable that perhaps if they can mimic the vibration of the Titan X, that it will lure it back. It's not working though. It goes up, and of course, my boy Shaw just can't help himself. We got the drone operator with the little joystick, and he's like, "Look, the water's choppy. We can't get too close." And he gets this like, I can't help it. And he just rushes through and forces my man's hand forward on the joystick, and then leave it there and stay. Of course, Tentacle comes up and gets the Verdugo treatment. Tentacle pimp smacks the drone. It goes dead. And then now while all this is going on, Kate and Kentaro end up taking down the hitchhiker, horseshoe crab on the ship. They call up like, we've caught something. We don't quite know what it is, but we think it hitched a ride and got on the ship somehow. And just as they shot, he shot it with like, what were those flares he shot into it?
I also have to say, just real quick, it is also so crazy that after they got off of that helicopter, no one did any inspection on any of them.
Yeah, that was crazy. They didn't do a decontamination.
No, nothing.
Trash corporation, trash shadow agency that's meant to study these giant monsters.
I'm like, where's the protocol at, man?
There is none. Well, I guess because Verdugo's gone, everybody's just kind of doing their own thing, and Tim don't want to lead nothing. He don't want to lead nothing. He's just skipping around.
I guess, but I'm just like, I feel like that's common sense, kind of. I understand it's a stressful situation.
You're right,
and people forget things, but I just also feel like that is common sense. Y'all came from an other world, okay?
Yeah. Yep.
You don't know what you got. Y'all got all kind of stuff. Y'all, the air is different. Y'all bringing other air to this air.
The air. That other air is just different.
Yeah, you're right, Josh. You're absolutely right. They shot up the little horseshoe crab, and it's not quite dead yet. It screams, and it's got the echolocation to send out the bat signal for the Titan X, and they know it's like, oh snap! This was some dumb dialogue to me. It turned around. What do you mean it turned around? I believe like the direction.
Turn around. Yeah, turn around.
It's not just turning. It hit a Yui.
Yeah, like you were following it going in one direction, and now it is turning around, coming back towards you. You were following. That's what with me. What do you mean? What do I mean?
And now it's going to eat me.
Yeah. So stupid. Exactly. So stupid. It's going to eat me. And then Shaw has to activate. I got a plan.
Oh my god!
So they turn around, and then they flash back again to 1957. Keiko and Shaw are now in this little weird. These people then set out the bonfire. Got this little. Did y'all notice the homeboy did not drink what he gave them?
Oh.
If he puts a little shot glass to his lips, like he's gonna drink with them.
Oh.
And then you see him do like this, but the liquid doesn't actually go down. he just makes sure that they're also drinking. They're sipping on the little juju juice that they get given them. And I knew as soon as he was like, "How you feeling?" I was like, "Oh, they got slipped a Mickey. It's about to go down." They start dancing around. Stuff is getting hazy, and then all of a sudden, what Keiko was feeling in the cave that repeatedly Shaw, for whatever reason, couldn't feel this vibration of something coming, and we know it's the. I think they showed the little sacrificial altar thing where they cut
Yeah.
the fish over with the pool of blood.
Yeah.
Is sitting there in it at this little. I thought that was a place to sacrifice people,
Mm.
and
Yeah, I
you
thought
could
they was
see
gonna
like
do
the
that.
Doppler effect in the blood pool and that little symbol where the blood of the fish or whatever the hell they cut open, the Doppler effect of something coming, and then all of a sudden, everybody, while they're sitting there in their little drunken or drugged haze, whatever they got them with, and everybody just creeps back into their house. And old girl told her, "I tried to tell you to leave many times, but you wouldn't listen." And then she's
Right.
like, "I'm sorry" in Spanish. And they just all jump in their cribs and lock the doors, and everything starts shaking. Avalanche of these damn horseshoe crab things pop up out of the ground and start creeping out towards the kaiju. It's like, yeah, this is what you might have unleashed here. We go back to see Shaw now because they flash back to the present day, and they figure out that whatever that thing was that they caught in the bottom decks might be what caused the Titan X to turn around. Shaw takes a little speedboat out, lures it away, chucks it out in the ocean, and the thing kind of leaves them be. So disaster averted temporarily. But we know it's going to come to a head and they're probably going to bring all three together, which I'm a fan of. Bringing the Titans all together to have this, I don't know, WWE style Royal Rumble between them, because it's gonna be dope. I
I
already know
think
it's gonna be.
that's what we're here for. I think
Yes.
we have to survive all of these terrible decisions and
Suffering. It's
all this
suffering.
crazy dialogue just to get to the smackdown of the kaijus. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Kaiju SmackDown 2026. We know is about to happen. What I'm hoping is we get a resolution by the end of the season. What I feel they may do is lead us into a movie, though. I mean, I'm hoping
Yeah.
that's not what they do. That we won't get the final confrontation of Titan X Kong tag team with Godzilla against another kaiju that's bigger than both of them in the movie form. But I hope we get that in the TV show, or maybe there'll be something else to explore because there's tons of more monsters that they can give us. So they can go ahead and give us a resolution with this Titan X and on the show, and then give us maybe lead us into something new with the film. At least that's what I hope. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's what I'm hoping.
I have this nagging suspicion that they're gonna put. I don't call it okie doke. You know how like season one is more geared toward Godzilla.
Yes.
I have a weird feeling this season. Like I don't know. I feel like this series might just set up as King Kong is gonna be the hero in this.
Okay.
Because I'm constantly looking at like the timeline, right? So it's like if this show is their present day is 2017, is before Kong got his arm messed up in the fight in the second or third movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like it's gonna exist in that like gray area between the first Godzilla versus King Kong movie or whatever. Like, yeah, the first was a Godzilla X Kong or whatever, because he still has him. He still looks a little normal. So
Yeah.
I would love for Godzilla to show up, but I also have this weird feeling this just might. I could see this just being Kong fighting the monster, which would be fine, because we see Godzilla all the time. They've introduced King Kong, so it's like we can give different types of fight scenes and choreography because he don't have a giant cosmic breast.
Yeah, well, Kong's got his own thing with Skull Island. That film came out with him featured in it, and now he's been sprinkled. And we've already got a couple mashups with him and Kong, but they also see that he still hasn't gotten over his fear of water or his not being able to adapt to the water, because obviously he doesn't follow Titan X. He just kind of punches the water like, damn it, I can't go in there. So
like, okay, man.
He said, "Oh, I'm not a fish."
Yeah, not a fish.
I'm not amphibious. God.
So that's kind of where like they're already putting in there where you need Godzilla, because he's the only one that can follow Titan X into the water.
That's also true.
And Kong is really only viable on land, so they're gonna have to meet them somehow. Where I guess Kong can fight it in the water, and Kong can be on the land somewhere nearby, waiting to get tagged in, or maybe Godzilla will force it up on land to try and even up the odds of fighting it and not try and fight it in the water. But we'll see.
They're both looking at each other like Godzilla's in the water and Kong's on land. Like, you get here. You come here.
Yeah.
No, you come here.
Here's the thing.
You come here.
Oh my gosh.
Or are we going to get a water tag team situation where Kong is riding Godzilla into the water?
All right. I'm gonna dead all this in the water. I'm gonna dead all this in the water. So here's my other issue with like the what is it? The inconsistency. If this let's go down the rabbit hole of like, what if we get a Kong and Godzilla team up? They was fighting each other very aggressively in the movies. And I don't know if I had got the impression whether or not they knew each other. So, when we had Godzilla versus King Kong, I felt like I couldn't tell if they were actual, like they knew each other. But then in the context of the movie, they said they were like mortal. They were like these mortal enemies, or I wouldn't say enemies, but they had this long-standing rivalry. So they did. They said that in the movie. So let's see where this goes. But like, this is just another episode forever ago in 2017 when they teamed up that one day. But then they were smacking each other up.
Yeah. remember it's already, the films gave us the background that they were basically rival gangs. The giant ape titans and these giant amphibious lizards, where they had collected old Godzilla, whatever their species is, old scales that still could power up and deflect energy to make weapons out of them. And that was basically used to try and combat them. And it was only, I think, the first time was against Mechagodzilla that they teamed up. And it's like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yeah. So they kind of briefly teamed. It was like, remember that brief nod of respect, after they stopped fighting? Godzilla goes off into the ocean, and basically after checking King Kong, but they like kind of nod at each other like, he's friends for now. He goes off, and then Kong somehow makes his way back to Skull Island. But they were mortal enemies, because they gave us the whole little, remember, had the people on Skull Island in that one temple that had like drawings of Kong. And
I do remember that.
Yeah, so they do have history. So maybe it's just instinctual at this, because I guess Kong's parents, so I guess he's supposed to be like one of the last of his kind. We find out he's not, though, but had like some type of DNA memory going back through, or maybe he can read the glyphs in the cave thing. He can understand the story that those murals and stuff were telling in that large, almost like Kong church.
You go to Kong Church, you go to Kongzilla. Churchzilla. Which one is?
Remember, because of gravity, there's like a big like ziggurat.
Oh yeah, that was upside down. That was upside ridiculous.
Down. Yeah, he flipped up and went in there. Yes, they have a long history.
Oh my goodness, they do. I guess this is one of them. This might be one of the episodes where they team up again. And be like, all right, man, we won't work together on this one. I would like for King Kong to handle this one, but I'm not gonna be mad if Godzilla shows up and hit him with the fire breath, the cosmic breath.
The cosmic breath?
The cosmic breath. If he shows up, I'm gonna be happy regardless. I can't be mad at it.
He's gonna show up, but I have a feeling that Titan X has a few tricks up his sleeve too. He may have some cosmic breath of its own.
Yeah, I don't know. It was the way he came out of the cocoon that reminded me of Godzilla charging up. So I was like, this looks interesting.
Yeah.
Also, I want those little horseshoe crab things to do more. Like, it would be like, I was thinking about the cult element to it, and I was like, and they give us that. They clearly show us at the end as the giant Titan X is kind of moving underwater, and one of those horseshoe crab creatures reconnects with it, which is going to mean that that thing is going to release all of those on a group of people. I wonder,
they're like a mass of barnacles on its hide. They're like
and it would be. I don't know. I just want to see more of it because I'm like, you have this cult. It would be cool if those things can control people or do something to people. I don't know. I'm just coming up with things because I'm like, how could they push this? Are they just gonna have this mass of small little creatures terrorizing people? So we'll see.
I don't think Apex is done either. They're cooking up more BS to throw in the pot.
They need to make some weapons or something. I don't know. Like, how are y'all going to help?
They had to have made something aside from Mecha Godzilla.
Exactly. Like, give us something else. Or what if that's what the reveal is? Hey, we're bringing back Mecha Godzilla before he got killed.
Or we've made a Mecha Titan X. We've been taking satellite imagery of this thing and created our own version of this thing. What do you think, Jocelyn?
Of creating a Mecha Godzilla?
No, just in general. Did I catch you off guard? Just in general about all we've been talking about.
We've been spitballing ideas. We writing a new. Me and Rod are writing a new show at this point.
I have no idea. Honestly, I don't know like where they're going monster wise. I mean, it's shifting gears from like daydreaming of what these kaiju fights are going to be like, but I'm interested in this psychic connection that the ladies have with the kaiju, the tentacle one.
Okay, Titan X.
Yeah, Titan X. I'm very because both the what are their names? Keiko and the mom and the daughter or
granddaughter, Kate.
Granddaughter. Yes,
Kate.
Thank you. Kate and Keiko. They both seem to have a connection to that particular monster.
Yes.
So I'm very interested in what that is because they're not. They don't have a connection to like the little horseshoe crabs, or anything else. But it's just that creature.
Yeah, I think Kate's connection is more connected to Godzilla than to Titan X. I think, yeah, you're right. Keiko definitely has a connection. She can feel its presence. I don't get that sense from Kate, but Kate has that connection with Godzilla. What we saw from G-Day in the film and in season 1, where she kind of feels something every time it's sort of getting closer, and even when it comes back, she kind of has that something resonates with her. He gets a little close.
Well, yeah, it's a common theme.
Go ahead.
That is a common theme across the Godzilla franchise, like women having connection to the kaiju in some regards. Didn't they get into that in Mothra?
What happened?
They got into that? I thought they got into that with the King of Monsters film, or at least made a reference to one of the older Godzilla movies with these like 2 twin girls that were connected to Mothra or Godzilla. I can't remember the specifics. What?
We do see Kate stand in the water as the boat with Shaw runs out to try and divert it as the beast is getting closer, coming back to, I guess, reclaim one of its little horseshoe crab things. And we see these double Doppler effects in the water. That was pretty cool. When Kate is standing there in the water, looks down, and you see the Doppler effect there.
Well, the reason why I said it's also Kate is because the moment when, I guess, after the people that village went back into their homes and stuff, and they were about to be sacrificed, she was asking, I guess it was Shaw, she was like, "Do you feel it coming?" And he couldn't feel it.
He did not until it was super close.
Okay.
Because at the very end, he's like, "I don't feel it. I don't feel it. I don't feel it." And then the third time, she doesn't ask him, but he's like, "Oh, I feel it now." And I don't know if part of that was the little elixir that they gave them either, that maybe gave them a connection that maybe this is something that they drink constantly and they weren't really taking it at that time. They were just really giving it to them as a kind of lure and sacrifice along with the fish, but they gave them some of their little juice and now they're in tune with it. And at the very end, yeah, Shaw's like, oh, I feel it now. Like, yeah, it's too late. And then finally he's like, run. And I'm like, which direction? They run right towards it. They don't they don't run away. They run directly towards it because in the end you see it kind of come out of the water and then shake his head and roaring at them. I'm like, y'all
Which was
ran.
so crazy. I was like, I don't know how y'all got out of this. Like,
Yeah, they don't because they don't show us, right? They don't show us how
Uh-uh.
they got out. They just that's the end of the episode.
That's
That
it.
they shaking is but obviously because they're both still alive, we know they survived that.
mm,
One of the houses gets smashed through with the tentacles. I don't know if anybody was killed in that.
damn.
But yeah, they
I
don't
don't
show us.
know.
Maybe in the next episode on Friday, they'll show us what happened to. I hope that
Mhm.
town is still, that little village is still there.
It needs to be there. I think it's gonna be there. I'm not concerned. It has to be there for y'all to make me watch these like flashbacks. We have to see the descendants of those people. Like we give me that at least.
Well,
I guess.
I think it's also interesting that this X creature has more than one way to be summoned. Uh,
Hmm.
so like, apparently it can be summoned by fish blood, I guess, and then also the its little minions, I guess.
Hmm.
So I think that's interesting. It has more than one way
But
you can call
remember
it
the
up.
weird when they're looking up in the sky and it looks like the moon is glowing gold with that weird circle around it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that part was cool.
I'm thinking maybe that was like a timing thing, where they knew for a
Mm.
fact it was about to show up. That's why they got all
Oh,
their face makeup and they started having a little dance and the bonfire. I
Right.
think they knew it
I
was
see.
coming. She's like, we tried to get y'all to leave. We didn't want to have to do this, but Bruh is coming, and we have to give them a sacrifice to, the balance in the water, so that the sea will give us a good bounty. And the trade-off is we got to give them something in return. You're gonna be the ante now, since you didn't want to leave. What's about to happen now? Our secret's about to stay a secret because y'all done discovered it, but you won't live to tell the tale, basically. And
Mhm.
Mm.
I think that was a planned timing thing with that uh celestial sign. I guess kind of like how Haley's comet only comes with so many years
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then until it's visible again. I think this was another thing like that. Like they knew that it was time for it to come back to get his bounty, and in return they give us a good bounty from the sea, and we just do it like that every. Y'all just came at the wrong time. Sorry, you on the menu.
Sorry, folks. Sorry, folks. And
Fair
I
enough.
honestly think that was the best. For me, that's the more, I don't know, I feel like that's the more compelling part of this series is like looking at like this concept of like a cult forming around the kaiju. So I think that was the most interesting part of this.
Mhm.
I was like, I can believe this.
Yeah.
I believe this more than the dumb actions of everybody else. So like I can sit through this, but I get it. It's a cult, but not Monarch. It's just stupidity.
Yeah, and you might be right that they survived when we think about that crazy like looking indigenous crew that was still there on Skull Island with they
Hmm.
didn't talk, remember, but they had the yellow face paint and
Hmm.
like they were just living off the land in that one. It was kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
They just had them out there and surviving and living around Kong, and then the old the World War II pilot crash landed there along with the Japanese World War II pilot. Both of them crashed there and ended up living, I guess, years. And he inherited his officer's sword. He was just out there. It was kind of cool. At the end of Skull Island, he gets to go back to his family. But yeah, there was a village there that survived. So it's very possible that these people in Chile, southern Chile, that have survived in this fishing village because they had an agreement and had abided by it, so they don't get destroyed. I hope though, and we'll see. I guess. Any other thoughts before we sign off?
No, I'm good.
No.
Let's see what other decisions these people are gonna make.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll get to see this Friday, and I guess since we talked the first two episodes, we'll wait another week to basically talk episodes 3 and 4 after that one's released, and then take another break. Everybody coming off that Blurred Con high.
Long weekend.
Yeah, long weekend.
Good weekend, though. Good weekend.
It was a good weekend.
Very good. Well, I appreciate y'all taking the time to chop it up with me about these things. The one or two people that caught us on the live, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to us chop it up about this sci-fi fantasy TV shows. Once again, once this episode goes up on Spotify for the Askari Cast, there will be links to our individual websites in case you are curious about our creative endeavors. And we will talk to y'all in a couple weeks. Peace.
See
Peace.
y'all.